is Granny Maggie from Granny Magic, and I wanted to spend a little time with you talking about New Year's and the rituals that we perform, hoping to impact the energy for the future year. I myself spend a lot of time working with tarot cards. For me, they're a second language. They're all about patterns of energy flow. So what I like to do is to discover my tarot card for the year ahead. And there's a very simple way to do that. You take your birth month, your birthday, and the year, and you add them all together. So here, I was born in April on the second day, and the upcoming year is 2023. When I add those together, I'm getting 2029. I add the 6, and the 9 to get 13. That's a double-digit number. So 1 plus 3 equals 4, the Emperor. Now that's where some people leave it. I myself work with 2-year cards. So I would work with number 4, the Emperor, and at the same time, I would also look at card number 13, which is Death. These are the 2 cards I'm going to be looking at as I set my goals and my intentions for the upcoming year. And the way that I do that is, first of all, I'm going to list a couple of sites, if you don't already have a good reference book to work with, that will talk about the energy and the meaning of these cards. And then you're going to look at your circumstance and think about what the energy of these cards is calling you to personally in the new year. This is very subjective. It's when you dig deep into that intuitive wisdom and you draw up what it tells you. And so the Emperor is all about benign, compassionate leadership. It also means tackling battles when necessary, maintaining boundaries. There's a lot to unpack there for me about leadership regarding my business, leadership in other aspects of my life, protecting my boundaries. And because there's a lot of baggage around those issues for me, it's interesting that the other card that came up was number 13, Death, because it's telling me the time has come that a lot of these fears are being stripped from me. And I am, in a sense, going to die to those past shadows and be reborn into something that can uphold the best of what the Emperor symbolizes. So once I have some idea of these cards and what they mean for me, the next thing that I do is I look at the 4 elements that are present and represented in tarot, but are also represented in the sacred pentacle or pentagram that we use in witchcraft. And so I'm going to be setting goals for the new year that align with each of these elements relating to the changes these cards are calling me to. So the first one is air, my breath. And air is a masculine energy. It's all about action. It's all about knowledge. It's about planning. It's about taking your power and creating change. And there's a logical thought process to the whole thing. So that's going to be me really looking at, planning, and evaluating where my business is going in the future, where I want to go with my YouTube, how I want to begin teaching people and being available to them a little bit more, and coming out of my shell, being a little less solitary. And so I'm going to make some goals relating to that. They're going to be rather general. This isn't me making specific objectives to get to those goals. They're going to be a little bit general. The second one is the Suit of Cups, which is the element of water. And water is a feminine, receptive, very fluid, soft kind of energy. But it's got very long-term power. It's about the relationships in my life. It's about my blood. It's about the things the relationships that bind me, the relationships that support me. It's the people in my life. It's the spirits in my life. It's how I relate emotionally to the things that are around me in a receptive, adaptive kind of way. It's a reminder for me to be open to the changes that are going to come in this new year as I release and give up some of those things in the death card to move on to the leadership role. How will my relationships with people shift? What am I going to change? Again, those are going to be very broad. The third is Wands, which is fire. I'm going to be looking at fire, my blood, my passion, my inspiration, my creativity. This is masculine, active energy out in the world, creating change. It's about relating to spirit and then making things manifest here on earth. It's a very hot, volatile kind of energy. And it's going to be about, where do I feel called in this new year? If I'm being called to take on some leadership role, how do I feel inspired to do that? Where will that be? In what areas? How will I express that? Where does my passion lay? And then the last one would be Wands, which is, we did Wands. Earth, which is my body. And it's all about the material aspects of my life. And for me, I think that's going to relate a lot to organization, how I prioritize my needs and the needs of others around me. How do I keep abundance in my life? How do I build a home that supports and nurtures me? Where do I prioritize my time? What do I value? And so looking at that, I'm going to make some broad goals. Once I've made the 4 goals, what I'm going to do is I luckily have this beautiful dish that makes my life a lot simpler. But you don't need to have that. All you need to have are some little votive candles and 5 votive candles, or whatever candles you choose, in the shape, essentially, of a pentagram. And one of these will represent the fire aspects of how you're going to be working with these cards. And you're going to set a general goal for that. What inspires you? Where does your passion lay? How are you going to determine that? What goals do you have? Then one will represent water, the relationships in your life, the connections that you have spiritually and with the people around you, your emotions. What kinds of broad goals are you setting for those? And you would write those down and put them under the candle that represents water. And then you would do the 4 elements. The 5th little votive candle is going to represent the universe, God, whatever deities you worship, because they are the ones that you're going to call on to ask you to help facilitate these changes. And any time before midnight on New Year's Eve is an excellent time to do this. You're going to want to very thoroughly cleanse your space. I also recommend cleansing yourself either with a bath or a cleansing shower, or As you smoke cleanse your space, you can use that smoke to also cleanse yourself. And then I recommend lighting these candles and saying something for each one, beginning with any deities, spirits, the universe, whatever energies you're calling in to witness this and to help you as you move forward. And then, because I'm not a big chanter, I speak to my spirits. Go around to each of the elements and talk just a little bit about what your goals for that are. And then with each successive moon cycle, we're going to go through 12 of them in the upcoming year. That's when you're going to want to work on specific objectives towards those goals. But for right now, those are broad. And then spend a little time meditating on those. Express gratitude for all the things that are coming to you. If you want something scripted, I've posted a lot of different prayers and chants for New Year's, and there's so many online. And then you can go around and either, if you won't be able to keep an eye on those candles, you can put them out, or I tend to let them burn out. And then take your 2 cards and put them somewhere where you're going to be able to see them. I picked up this inexpensive little tarot card holder on Amazon, and it allows me to display tarot cards on my altar. And it has 2 crescent moons and the full moon. And I tend to find the full moon is the perfect place to light a little candle. And whether you do that daily or weekly, or with the phases of the moon, throughout the next year, I would recommend having a time where you look at those cards and meditate on what they mean for you. Especially with the new moon when we set intentions, and light a candle to remind yourself. Those little papers that you wrote and you put under the candles, I personally would save those. I would put them, I'm looking because I always have those little bags. I don't have one up here. But those little tool bags I send out when I send your order or something like that, put them in a little bag. Maybe get yourself some clear quartz to amplify those intentions, and then keep that on your altar. And that will also be an excellent reminder to you. You could also keep them near wherever it is that you're going to be working with these cards. But that's what I do for the new year. That's not what you necessarily need to do. Maybe if this isn't for you, it will trigger some ideas and some understanding of how we approach the new year. We have to be open to the energy of the year that's coming. We have to be open to what the universe is sending us. And sometimes, usually, our awareness is not 100%. And so that's why when we set these objectives, these goals, they're very broad. Because we want to allow space with each lunar cycle to see where this energy is taking us in the new year ahead. So I wish you much love and much happiness, a fullness as you walk your path this new year. I will be posting in the comments a couple of places where you can go for more information about your card. I also know that there are places online where you can download and print a picture of the card if you do not have a tarot deck. But I will be putting a couple of references for you in the comments. So many blessings to all of you as you fulfill the joy that's waiting for you in 2023. Thank you so much for joining us. And I hope that you can look forward to more videos particularly concerning how you can start walking this path in a way that is true to you and empowers you rather than depletes you. Many blessings. This is Granny Maggie.